Hi everyone. Next to me here is a Ficus Microcarpa. This is also known as Taiwan Ficus or Green Island Ficus or Tiger Bark Ficus. And this is as I received it. I got this beautiful tree from a good friend who wanted to see me do something with it in terms of turning it into a bonsai. You can see right now it's in a large heavy concrete pot, so it makes a very nice little patio tree. But I really wanted to turn this into a bonsai and put it in the show, and I've never really done heavy work on one of these before. Now the first thing I need to do is get it out of this pot and get it in a proper bonsai pot or training pot. Now since this concrete pot's very heavy, I'm going to try to lift it here out of the pot, leave the pot here, get it into my cart over there, and then we'll cart it over to the work area. And then we'll work on taking the bottom half off the root ball and getting it into a something a bit more bonsai-like. So let's see how loose it is here. Oh boy, this may need a mallet. Yep, I think this needs a mallet. So we're going to tilt this over on its side, and then we're going to pound on it a little and try not to break the pot. Wiggle it back and forth, and out it comes. Oh! Okay, put that big heavy thing there. And we'll lift up this guy. Yeah, it's heavy. Put it in here, and then we'll take it over to the work area and its roots. What we need to do is kind of take off bottom half to bottom 2/3 of the root ball. Now that we have the bottom 2/3 of the root ball shaved off, and we know that it fits in the pot, the top has to be pruned. Now the reason this thing got so leggy underneath here is because it wasn't pruned aggressively enough, so it only grew foliage out here. And in order to get it to look like a bonsai, we really need to cut it back quite a bit. So take the big cutter here and make some choices about where and what to cut. This branch was probably meant to be the top of the tree, the apical branch. This was maybe a side branch. You could maybe make something going this way, but if you do, you're going to have to take this whole thing off and you're going to have a huge scar. So I'm thinking we're going to take this off somewhere right in around here, and we'll see how well it grows back. Not quite through it yet. Make a cutting out of that. That's a nice piece in and of itself. Then we have kind of a back branch thing going on here. And we got another nice one. And now we've got some smaller ones here down low that have to be dealt with and cleaned up. Wood's kind of hard on that one. And these are ones where we can leave some foliage because it's close in. This is an area where the pruning worked a lot better. And this is going to be kind of our bailout if the top dies back and fails to sprout. But I don't think that's going to be a problem on this variety of ficus. Now, this is the one we kind of got high hopes for. We want to get something going right in there. And then this one, we want to take it off to about there. And finally this guy, possible new apex. Okay, and now that we've mostly beheaded the tree, we'll cut back this lower stuff as far as we can. I have a feeling this thing's going to sprout new greenery very quickly once we've done this. This is how they do them in Taiwan. Haven't had a chance to go there and see it, but I've read a few books. And when they want to really bonsai shape one and get compact growth, they take them all the way down to nothing like this. They also graft the smaller leaved varieties onto the larger ones, but since this one already makes nice small leaves, there's no need for that. And we've got some plastic pots here. We'll fill those with soil. We'll grow these on as cuttings. And next thing to do is to get this guy settled in its new pot. Now all I did for this point was just sort of set it in here. So we need to give it a temporary home down there. And we've already got our drainage screens in. Now you'll notice this mixture I'm using is a little heavy on the organic. That's because this is a ficus, it's a tropical. It's going to burn it real nice. Now we take this guy, settle it in here, and we'll just kind of take a look here and see. It's a little early to be playing with trunk inclination. Just going to kind of look and see. Yeah, I think I'll tilt it towards the front just a little. Let's see how that looks. Maybe a little bit less. Okay, that's good. Now backfill, and then we'll be done with the potting of the ficus. And we can move on to making cuttings out of all those upper branches that we took off. And maybe when those take root, we'll even give one of those back to the guy that gave me this wonderful tree. Wouldn't that be cool? We have our heavily pruned ficus settled into the pot, and we've given it some nice all-purpose plant food. This is a 10-10-10 makeup. It's a chemical fertilizer, and what it'll do is it'll help give this thing a nice head start in terms of getting its roots reestablished and getting some leaves going. So we have that going on. What we'll do now is we'll water this guy, set it aside, and make some cuttings out of everything we cut off of it. This has a little more organic in it than I usually use because it's a ficus, so it's not going to drain real fast. May need to be watered less often than the other bonsais. We'll just watch and see how it runs out the bottom. The other thing is these things tend to make really dense roots too, and that inhibits drainage also. We have our ficus now situated nicely in the place where I've been keeping it, and water's draining out of the bottom of the pot. So we're about done with this until it starts growing again. What we'll do is when we come back next scene in the video, this should have growth all over the top. A few weeks have passed by, and as you can see, our ficus now has profuse growth at many points all over it. I wanted to wait and shoot this scene just to show everybody the results of having cut off all the major branches, not having worked with this particular variety of ficus very much before. I wasn't sure how well this was going to work, but as we can see now, it's worked beautifully, and we have a lot of new growth from which to make the bonsai. Now, needless to say, these branches, where I left existing leaves as kind of a bailout in case this part didn't grow back, now I'm going to have to cut these back to balance the growth once I get a little bit more of a canopy going here. Other considerations, this pretty much has to be the back of the tree. Unfortunately, this big pruning scar here tends to make the tree look like a certain impressionistic painting that I'm sure we're all familiar with. And so not wanting to have a bonsai named after that painting, I've decided that this side here is going to be the front. In terms of styling, the next big question is whether we're going to put the apex over here and do an informal upright, or use this one up here or this one and have more of a slant style, but that's going to be a decision to be made in the future. Meanwhile, what we're going to do is wait until these and our other future branches grow out. Then we're going to cut these stubs back far enough to blend the lines into the new branches, and we'll do some wiring. Hopefully we can get into that maybe in July of this year if this thing grows fast enough. But if not, then we'll certainly tackle that particular task next spring. But either way, this tree is vigorous and it's on its way to being a beautiful bonsai. So let's do a quick turnaround here and show all the new growth that we have to work with. Oh, and we also have several cuttings that we managed to get off of it. This thing proved to be quite wonderful for that. And these are two of the larger ones, and you can see they've got new growth at several points on them, so they're quite viable and energetic, and in the future they'll make wonderful smaller bonsai. So here you have it, Taiwan ficus, tiger bark ficus, Ficus Microcarpa, whatever you want to call it, but anyway, in the future this is going to be an absolutely stunning bonsai. Thank you for watching, folks.